and welcome back. So today's video I'm doing a little makeup look for you. It is this one here, and it's basically like a really glowy skin spring summery makeup that has like a corally pink feel to it. I'm sure I'll come up with a slightly catchier name than that. And it's a makeup that I've just really been enjoying wearing recently. Not necessarily every day, just because I have a bit of a time limit every day where I just kind of throw on a little bit of tinted moisturiser and mascara, and then that's all I have time for. But at the weekend, when I've got a bit more time and Eric's with the baby, I like to spend a little bit more time doing my makeup. So this is the look I've been going for then, so I thought I'd do a little video on it. So I'm going to get started now, and I hope you enjoy it. I've also got my nice springy top on for the occasion. Do you like it? It's from Zara. So I'm going to start by prepping my skin a little bit. I've already done all of my skincare routine and everything, but I'm just going to pop on a little bit more facial oil, just because my skin's been a little bit dry and reactive recently. This one is the Aesop Damascus Rose Facial Treatment, and it's just the facial oil that I've been using at the moment. It's really nice, so I'm just going to work that into my skin a little bit. So to really get that glow into my skin, I'm going to use a face illuminator. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid in the shade Topaz. And I'm just going to pop like half a pump onto the back of my hand. I spoke about that in a favourites video recently. I just love it. Ever since I bought it, I've just been using it non-stop. And I'm just going to mix in my foundation with that. So I'm going to do a full pump of the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation, which is just my absolute favourite. And I've got my beauty blender here, so I'm just going to mix them together on the back of my hand like this. I only discovered the beauty blender recently, and I have to say I just absolutely love it. It's so good. Although if you are using a slightly higher coverage foundation, it does take a little while to blend. But that's fine. I don't use it every day. Usually when I'm doing just a tinted moisturiser every day, I won't bother with it. And also because what I'm putting on now is kind of half foundation and half liquid illuminator, it's a lot easier to blend because it makes it much sheerer. So I've done one light layer just all over my skin, and I'm just going to go back in the areas where I feel like my skin needs a little bit more coverage. And I'm just pushing the product into those areas and trying not to like move the product around too much. This just gives me slightly higher coverage just where I need it. I'm going to stop there with foundation just because I'm happy with how it looks. It's quite glowy and light and fresh. It's not as flawless as it probably could be. I could put on more foundation, but to be honest I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. And next I'm going to go in with a bit of concealer, and this is the Hourglass Hidden Corrective Concealer, and this is in the shade Honey. So I'm just going to pop a bit of that under my eyes. Going in a bit of a triangle shape. Just to like brighten the under eye area. I'm also just going to add a bit in the corner of my mouth because I have a bit of pigmentation there, a bit on my chin and on that little dark mark there. And going back in with the beauty blender, I'm just going to blend that in. Again, just pushing it into the skin because I don't want to move the product around too much. This concealer is so lovely. It's really like creamy. And moisturising, but it's so high coverage. I really have been loving it. My usual favourite is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, and although I still love that, I think because I've had particularly dry kind of under eye area, this one is a little bit more moisturising. Just going to pop a little bit more on under my eyes. Beauty blender is so great at making like product look so skin-like. Like it really meshes the product with your skin, rather than just looking like you have loads of products sitting on top of it, which is something I really like about it. Now this look is all about the highlighter for me, so I am going to use my absolute favourite all-time highlighter, and this is the MAC Cream Colour Base in Improper Copper. I have this here in a pan just because I usually have it in my MAC palette. I'm just going to grab a brush. I've actually really been enjoying using the contour brush from Real Techniques to apply it, so I'm going to get loads on my brush, and I do apply this quite generously, and then just pop it on the top of my cheeks. So I don't know if you can see the difference between that side with the highlighter and that side without, but I just love this highlighter. It's just so gorgeous. Because the shade is slightly darker, I am going to take it down a bit and onto the cheeks, so almost as a bit of a blusher as well. It has like a really nice coral coppery undertone to it, so it works really well in that way. So I'm going to break the rules a bit now. I know I've just used a cream highlighter, but I am going to use a powder, blusher and bronzer just because I've particularly been enjoying this combination. So for blusher, I have this Becca Blushed with Light palette, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This was out like at the end of last year, and it's got 3 blushes in it. And I'm going to use this one here, which is like a medium-y bright pink, very warm toned with like a bit of a gold shimmer running through it. And this shade is called Snapdragon, and you can get this individually, and I'll link that below. So even though the palette's limited edition, you can get this shade. And I'm just going to pop the tiniest amount just on my cheeks, just tapping the excess off on the back of my hand. Oh. Okay, that's a little bit more than I wanted to put on, so I'm just going to go back in with the Beauty Blender and just blend it out a little bit. I want it to be really, really seamless and quite natural looking. I'm now going to go in with bronzer, and for that I'm going to use this one. This is the Body Shop Baked Bronzer, I think it's called. It doesn't really say, and it's in the shade number 1, Golden Bronze, and it's like one of these like marbled baked bronzers, and it does have shimmer in it. It is fairly shimmery, but I'm going to use it kind of sparingly. So I'm going to pop it on my brush. This is the same brush. It's the Aqua blush brush. How many times can you say brush? So I'm just going to pop that on top and then along my temples. And I think I'm going to again go back in with my Beauty Blender just so it all looks really, really seamless. Next up I'm going to do my brows, and I'm going to use the Nars Single Eyeshadow in Blondie with my Bobbi Brown Brow Definer and Brow Groomer brush. So I'm just going to pop it on there. Just brush through my brows first. And I think this is my absolute favourite kind of brow product. I was using MAC Espresso for a little while, but I think that might be a little bit dark. Sometimes I go in with this one first and then add a little bit of that one. It kind of depends on like when I last did my eyebrows. Okay, so brows done. Nothing too crazy there, just a little bit of definition. So I'm going to go onto my eyes now. And I wanted to go for a bit of a warm, coppery, bronzy feel, just to go with this whole look. And the first thing I'm going to use is this Mercier Caviar stick, eye colour I think it's called. All the writing has like completely rubbed off this, but I'm pretty sure it's the shade Copper. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of that in the inner corner of my eye. Next I'm going to use another eyeshadow pencil. This one is the Makeup Forever, and it's the Aqua shadow in the shade 22E. Bit of an unimaginative name there, so I'm just going to scribble that all over my eyelid. I haven't used this eyeshadow stick in absolutely ages. I got it a few summers ago, and I remember just wearing it non-stop every day because I loved it so much, and then I got really bored of it and like forgot all about it. It's such a nice colour. Pretty much my skin colour, but shimmery, so perfect really. So I've scribbled that all over the lid, and I'm just going to soften that with my finger. I'm just taking the Mercier one again now. I'm just popping that, a little bit of that on the centre of the lid just to catch the light, and just pressing that in. Now I would normally put like a dark brown matte in the crease, but I want this look to be quite light and fresh. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of a like brow bone highlight on. So I'm going to take my cream colour base again, which was the one I used as a highlighter on my face, and just pop a bit of that on. This is the Sephora Pro Precision Crease Brush number 17. Again, I would normally wear like black eyeliner with this, but I quite fancy keeping it quite soft still. So I'm going to go back in with this Nars Blondie eyeshadow, the one I used on my brows. And then this is the Kiko Eyes 212 brush. And I'm just going to smudge that into my lash line a little bit. And just a tiny bit underneath. So, okay, so I still think I do need a tiny bit more definition. So I'm going to just go in with a tiny bit of matte carbon eyeshadow. And this is just a plain black matte. And just press it into the outer corner, right by the root of the lash. I'm now going to go in with some mascara, and for that I'm going to be using the Diorshow Blackout mascara. This is like my favourite mascara recently. It just gives you such like massive lashes really, really quickly, so I've been loving it. Just going to pile that on. I'm also just putting a tiny bit on the bottom lashes in the outer corner. Now I have pretty crap lashes naturally, so I don't know if you can see the difference there between the eye that I've done and the one that I haven't. It's really such good mascara. Although I would say it does smudge quite easily, so if you're someone who gets particularly runny, watery eyes, I would probably give it a miss. So I'm going to finish up with my lips now, and for that I've got a few options here. I kind of couldn't decide when I was going through my collection, but they're all kind of a pinky corally orange colour. So the first one I've got is the Lipstick Queen Endless Summer lipstick in Stoked, which is like a nice kind of orangey coral. This one is the Revlon Colourburst Lip Butter in Tutti Frutti, which I haven't worn in ages. Bit of a cheaper option and quite similar, probably less pink. And then last of all, I've got the By Terry Balm de Rose Nutri Clair in Mandarina Pulp. I never noticed that. Number 2. So that one's quite sheer. So I think I'm going to go for the Lipstick Queen just because it's like the most pigmented of the bunch. And it's one that I just kind of go back to every summer. I really, really love it. So I'm just going to pop a bit on now. So I've just popped the lipstick on and it's just so like moisturising and buttery and gorgeous. I just love the formula of these, and because they're quite sheer you don't really need like a lip liner or lip brush or anything. I just usually pop them in my handbag in the summer and they're like so easy to just throw on. Okay, so to finish up I'm just going to pop on a little bit of powder. This is the Chanel Le Beige powder in the shade number 30. I'm just going to take that on the Kevyn Aucoin brush again, and because I want to really keep the glow in my skin, I'm just going to apply it where I think I'll get really, really shiny. So on my nose, just in this little bit of forehead here, in between my brows, and then I'm just going to pop some on my chin, just because I put quite a lot of concealer on there. And I'm going to leave my cheeks. I'm not going to powder those because I really want to like keep that glow and that gorgeous highlight in there. So this is the finished look. I hope you like it. I'm really pleased with how it turned out actually. As I said, this is the makeup look I've been doing. Not every day, but just days when I have a little bit more time to spend on my face, which is always nice. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up. I will link all the products I use down in the description box below as usual. And please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to have a few more subscribers on here. So thank you so much and I'll see you next time. Bye!